This is the Pal Talk News Network.
The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
Talk is Online. News Talk Online is a production of paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on Blip TV and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, no retribution, and syndicated by our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten, and I welcome you to the show. Those of you who are listening on cable or on the internet, you want to jump into this one because I've got this beautiful woman sitting to my right. And if you can't see this, you're not catching the full experience of today's show. So you want to jump in, go to joinchatnow.com. joinchatnow.com. It's a free click right through to the virtual auditorium here on paltalk.com, and you can be seeing Lisa Bianco. Lisa, welcome to the show. Hey,
thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you here. Lisa is a songwriter and a singer, and she has a fairly new album out called Post Data. Post Data. Well, she wrote something very personal on here for me, and so I got real nervous and everything. And you're kind of an interesting person in that you were born, well, in a lot of ways, I'm finding out, but you were born on Long Island.
I was.
You live in New York City.
Yes.
Which is a mecca for music.
Yeah.
And yet you get your musical Jones down by me on the Jersey Shore. What's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. I just find myself there. I mean, I played the Wave Gathering Festival in Asbury Park, I guess. It was June 08, and that was the first time I was ever there. Because, when you live in Long Island, you go to Montauk. You don't really go, you go to your local beach thing. So I went there and I played, and I met a lot of people on Cookman Avenue, and it was just from there. I just played shows, and I keep seeing the people that I've met, and it's cool. And they're really open to music. They like music. They get into it, and so I enjoy playing there a lot.
Yeah, it's a very vibrant music scene, and it's really interesting. You never know. You may be in a club, and Bruce Springsteen might just walk in, and
last week.
Like last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was at the Saint.
Yes.
Where I play, yeah.
Yeah, you never know when Bruce.
I wasn't there, but I heard through the grapevine he was there.
I heard it through the grapevine too.
Were you there?
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
No.
You?
My son plays in a band down the shore, and they're going to be playing the Saint actually.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, that'll be very cool.
Great club.
Yeah.
Scott that runs it, he's great.
Yeah, and of course the famous Stone Pony. You can't, if you're a musician,
Pony.
you come to this area and you don't make the pilgrimage to the Stone Pony, then you ain't really a musician. Now, speaking of musicians, it's very interesting because your music has been actually described as a little bit punk rock, a little bit folksy, and a lot in between.
Yes.
You can't really be corralled into any one genre, can you?
No.
How is that? You do that just to keep the rest of us off our mark a little bit, or is it just that you enjoy all different kinds of music?
I do like, when you write music, it's just really what comes out, so I don't always try to write one type of way, or fast power chords, punk, or I've learned to play guitar. I listen to a lot of bands, so I like a lot of post-punk bands, and I like folk rock too. I love Neil Young, and I like Lucinda Williams, and I like just picking the guitar. So I'll mess around with everything, and that what comes out. So I try to fuse it together, I guess, the attitude and.
And what motivates you to is it experiences in your life or things that you just observe from afar? What really motivates your writing?
I think that I like to call myself a observational writer. I read that in a Pearl Jam interview once. The band, one of the Stone, the guitarist, was describing Eddie as that, and I like Pearl Jam as well a lot. And I like to just take in what I've seen, or just people's stories. Sometimes I use that as subject matter, and either put my own spin and obviously my own personal experience with some kind of story. So I don't always like to write about myself. Although maybe I do, who knows, right? I don't think any songwriter doesn't write about themselves, so then it's a lie.
Well, before we went on the air and I started sending invites out to the show here on paltalk.com, somebody who's a fan of yours up in Canada started writing to me in an instant message about you, and she's very familiar with your work, and she said that she likes your live stuff better than your studio stuff.
I could see that. Mm-hmm. We're a little different live. The album's a little bit more slick, and when I really started playing these songs from the album, the time that the album finished, or during that process. So when you play in a band and you play for a while, you develop sort of this bond of playing. You develop a style together, and you get to learn about each other. So they were new players for me, and we kind of grown into this beast, I guess, live.
Well, the thing is, when you're in the studio, is take 2, take 3, take 4. You need perfection when you're in the studio. When you're on stage, it all hangs out. If you screw up, you screw up. If you played a little bit differently, or a little different kind of mood to it, there's a little bit different kind of mood to it. The way the crowd reacts to you and the way you react to the audience affects the performance, right?
Yeah.
So, to me, I like live much better, actually. And I think that's the reason why. It's like doing this show. We could do the show in a studio, not do a live. And if I say something and screw up, you could punch me and say, "Gary, you just screwed up. Oh, would you re-rack the tape and let's do it again?" But I think it loses something along the way. Our first caller is Stephen. He's joining us from Dallas, Texas. But here's the thing. I'm going to let Stephen ask you a question. But Stephen, you are a disc jockey on 101.9 FM, The Cutting Edge. And I'm going to ask you a favor. I want you to agree to me that you'll play one of Lisa's tunes on your show. Will you promise me to do that? And if you do, I'll let you ask her a question.
Wow.
Steven, are you there? There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm actually the CEO of the Cutting Edge 101.9 FM. And definitely I'll play, I'll even put it in my library on my Pilot and her whole album. I've actually been researching her